I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man.
This is great for, what would you rather be canceled for? Sucking at your job, or the mean president took your job away? So for them, he's getting to come back. So you gotta.
What you're about to witness feels like it should be banned nationwide because Tyrus didn't just roast Jimmy Kimmel, he turned him into a permanent headline on live TV. One moment Jimmy was cracking jokes, and the next he looked like a man questioning every life choice he ever made under studio lights. Did Tyrus cross a line? Did Jimmy walk into this disaster? And why did the audience explode the way they did? Stay locked in because this takedown is so outrageous, it could qualify as its own scientific study in pure comedic demolition.
They all get together, they compare notes, and they tell each other, yeah, you should never mention his name again. You should never mention his name again. You should never. Does he call you? Doesn't call me? He texted me last week. Oh, so I'm still in the game. That's all this was. That's just, and that's why nobody cared. Nobody cares about the ex-wife's club.
Yeah.
You know, they just sit around, be funny, or they're setting up for their, when they're all canceled, their tour.
Before we go any further, hit that like button and subscribe because missing this moment would feel like skipping a plot twist that everyone else is talking about. Tyrus stormed into the comedy world like someone who bypassed their morning routine and went straight for maximum chaos. In just a few seconds, the entire atmosphere flipped from calm late-night chatter to full-scale seismic drama, leaving the audience unsure whether to laugh, gasp, or organize a rescue fund for emotional survival. No careers were destroyed, but a few egos definitely needed emergency exits.
If there ever was one. But it's not about me right now. But
Right.
the point is, like, of course he's not going to change, because he didn't have a reason to change. His whole thing was the best thing for him was to stay gone, because he would have been able to say for the rest of his days that the evil Trump MAGA got me. And then all his pundits would come out and say, free speech is being taken away. And now, like, nope, here's.
Jimmy Kimmel walked onto the set with his usual confident vibe, completely unaware that a comedy thunderstorm was about to tear through his comfort zone. He barely had time to straighten his tie before the jokes started firing across the stage like dodgeballs at a chaotic summer camp showdown. There was no real harm done, just a theatrical wipeout so intense even the cameras seemed to zoom out for their own safety.
Three-man show.
Yes.
Come watch us say how much we hate the president.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have anything to talk about. Kimmel was given each one of them was given a reset except for Seth. I didn't even know he was still on the air.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody did. Everyone's watching Forensic Files.
Yes.
No one's watching.
Viewers watched the moment unfold with the same dread people feel when their phone drops face down on concrete, terrified to look but unable to turn away. Nobody even blinked, because blinking meant risking the next blast of comedic artillery that Tyrus had perfectly prepared. He delivered every line like someone trained at a secret sarcasm academy, while Jimmy stood there unready, unshielded, and absolutely not emotionally waterproof.
You, Tyrus, where do you land on this thorny issue?
Like most times I land on thorns, they get smashed. I don't care, because I don't think it has anything to do with free speech. You have a job, just like I have a job. And if I go too far at work, I get fired. And it doesn't have to necessarily be on TV.
Yeah.
If I'm stacking cans at Walmart and I decide that I want to tell everyone who comes down they need to be conservative or they can't have.
What unfolded on that stage felt like a full master class in precision roasting disguised as entertainment, with every jab landing so accurately it could have been guided by satellite tracking. Not a single comedic strike misfired, and the audience became witnesses to a spectacular meltdown wrapped in non-stop laughter. After the first avalanche of jokes, it became obvious this wasn't random. This was intentional chaos crafted with the focus of a surgeon and the confidence of someone who circled the date as end someone's weekday. Every time Jimmy tried to recover, another wave of sarcasm was already stretching backstage, ready for round two with fresh power. The crowd turned into unofficial referees, unsure whether to clap, scream, or dodge the emotional debris flying across the set. Jimmy tried adjusting his posture like someone suddenly realizing they had re-entered a battlefield they weren't prepared for. And even though he wasn't physically harmed, mentally, he looked like a man emailing the universe begging for a system reboot.
It's hard for me.
Yeah.
It's hard not to punch down sometimes. It is.
Yeah.
People say and you just want to go get them. but you would be like, I'm so busy winning.
Yeah.
Sometimes ignoring is the best diss ever. You don't matter. But yeah, Europe is, I used to go to Europe all the time. I will not go for anything now because I know they'll be like, because they watch over.
The camera swept across faces filled with secondhand embarrassment so intense it deserved its own medical category, and every expression made the moment even more unbelievable. Tyrus kept leveling up the humor like a gamer, unlocking hidden powers without asking anyone's permission, turning each joke into something bigger and more chaotic. What started as normal television roasting quickly evolved into a myth-level survival story, where Jimmy's attempt at a comeback transformed into a full documentary about trying to stay alive on stage. The energy shifted from playful teasing into something that felt like it should be preserved in history books, because everyone silently knew this night would be retold for years. The lights didn't dim, but Jimmy's spirit definitely did as Tyrus refused to slow down, because slowing down would mean mercy, and mercy never showed up. Jokes about Jimmy's habits, reputation, on-air behavior, and media persona spun together into a perfect tornado, each line building on the last until it felt like watching scientists study what happens when an unstoppable force finally hits something completely unprepared.
What are they gonna do when he's gone?
Yeah.
They won't still be on TV, but are they still gonna be doing, are they gonna be with Rosie O'Donnell in a 4-way Zoom podcast about Trump ruining their life still?
I'm glad you didn't stop at 4-way. Although in my head I can see it.
Oh, come on, man, my mouth was open.
Heather, what do you make? You have the business angle on everything. So what's...
Well, for this, that you didn't play the part when Kimmel was on, well, you played the part Kimmel was on Colbert. When Colbert went on Kimmel, he said, welcome to the Emmy award-winning late night talk show host nominated, limited time only because of Trump administration. No, that's how he was introduced. It's not because of Trump administration that you're going to be.
The audience wasn't cheering. They were witnessing history unfold with the wide-eyed excitement of kids watching fireworks explode in the sky. Off to the side, Jimmy tried gathering whatever pieces of confidence he had left, hoping to look charming while his dignity quietly slipped away. People watching from home probably held their remotes like life preservers during a shipwreck of pure embarrassment, unsure whether to laugh or gasp. Chat rooms and social feeds erupted instantly, flooding the internet with reactions fueled by adrenaline and disbelief. Some people celebrated, others were stunned, but everyone kept replaying the chaos because every attempted deflection only made the roast even funnier, giving Tyrus even more momentum. The moment spiraled into a loop where comedy fed on itself until the whole studio buzzed with energy that felt destined for legend. Plenty of people dream of going viral, but not many dream of doing it like this, in a storm of laughter, sarcasm, and swagger so intense it practically shook the walls. Late night shows are built on banter, but this wasn't normal banter. This was a theatrical showdown decorated with bold humor and unstoppable attitude, ending only because the clock forced it to stop while viewers escaped instead of simply tuning out.
So this has nothing to do with free speech. You have a job. It's happened here. If a stand-up comedian does a joke that's too raunchy and they're like, whoa, you're done. Or goes too far on a TV, he went too far. And it's not like they haven't been giving them hints. They told The View, hey, maybe chill out. They told all these networks, hey, enough, maybe chill out. And they have had their way. And they had the government and the mainstream media backing them. Every time they said something, they were a martyr. And there was no
Replays instantly became mandatory viewing because nobody cared about the original topic anymore. Everybody wanted to relive the shock again and again. Clips turned into GIFs, memes multiplied, and the internet joined forces like it had finally found a universal obsession. Pure comedic destruction. Tyrus's delivery style became entertainment on its own, while Jimmy's reactions transformed into meme templates destined to outlive several social media trends. Critics appeared faster than pigeons at a dropped sandwich, analyzing every second like it belonged in a prestigious academic journal. Some insisted it was strategic television, others argued it was wild artistic chaos, but everyone agreed it was unforgettable. Tyrus didn't just walk off the set, he floated like someone who had completed a ritual in comedy greatness, while Jimmy stayed upright but clearly needed a spiritual spa day to recover. He forced a professional smile, pretending the storm had passed even though viewers could still sense the comedic smoke lingering in the air like a cartoon aftermath. And when Tyrus finally spoke afterward with calm, ordinary energy, the contrast made the entire situation even more iconic, as if he had casually returned from running errands instead of performing a full demolition on live TV.
One clown went all in on ignoring reality and blames MAGA.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
So MAGA is desperately trying to portray Kirk's killer as not one of them. If that man was any more full of he'd be a colostomy bag.
Even people who never watched the show rushed to catch the replay because nobody wanted to be the only person missing the cultural earthquake that had just happened. Strangers explained the roast to other strangers using dramatic hand gestures and soap opera level reenactments, turning simple storytelling into full theatrical productions. Nobody described it calmly. Everyone spoke like they were narrating a wildlife documentary about two natural predators meeting in the wild. The moment grew far beyond television and became social currency, inspiring unofficial merchandise within hours that perfectly captured the chaos even without Jimmy's approval. The internet treated the incident like a national event, celebrating and analyzing it as if it were breaking news. After the dust settled, both men returned to their careers, but the memory belonged to the public now, etched into the archives of unforgettable comedy. Tyrus earned legendary status among fans who adore unfiltered humor, while Jimmy recovered quietly with the kind of resilience people gain only after witnessing too much unexpected drama. The world loves a dramatic comeback, and Jimmy eventually crafted one, but that night became his unofficial character development episode, a moment that shifted how people viewed him forever.
We're seeing the adults back in the room at network television and everything else, just like, again, Washington Post firing an angry black woman talking about white people. Never would have happened. They wouldn't even dared it. And they were like, nope, you're out, because we're getting back to a mutual respect. Being on TV is a gift. This isn't a job you have to have. This is a job you get to have. And if you are not in line with the people who make the decisions, ABC probably is about to lose, $6 million in a week over advertising and everything else. They made a choice going this.
The roast became iconic, not because it was cruel, but because it was sharp, exaggerated, and performed with a level of theatrical awareness that turned comedy into pure art. Jimmy wasn't harmed. He simply felt what it's like when someone else uses your entire persona as material for a masterpiece that everyone remembers. Being the punchline is tough, but sometimes the punchline becomes part of entertainment history, and that's exactly what happened here. Viewers still replay the footage, not out of meanness, but out of fascination, captivated by how unpredictable live TV can be and how quickly the power shifts when humor is wielded with genuine skill. Even the industry acknowledged the moment quietly, aware of its impact without daring to speak too loudly about it. Nobody knows if there will ever be a rematch, but if one happens, therapists and popcorn vendors will profit like never before. Late night television will always remember the night Tyrus delivered a comedic eruption so intense it belonged in an archive vault. The moment didn't end with normal applause. It ended with stunned silence, roaring laughter, and the shared realization that live entertainment can turn into a battlefield that nobody is fully prepared to survive.
That was 2 days ago, so Kimmel had the chance to walk it back, but he can't. And why is that? Because to admit he was wrong on this calls into question his entire filter for interpreting reality. So it's better to live in denial, knowing the like-minded media won't press you on it. But we will. Hey, Disney shareholders, it may be time to thaw out Walt to put things right. No wonder your 5-year stock price looks like this. Bambi's mom has a...
And even as the world moved on to new memes, dramas, and televised chaos, that legendary moment stayed frozen in pop culture memory like a snapshot nobody could forget. The perfectly delivered jokes, the perfectly collapsing composure, and the stunned audience created a sequence so precise it felt almost choreographed. Roasts don't usually become historical evidence, but this one did, proving humor can shake the ground beneath even the most seasoned hosts. On that night, Tyrus didn't just outperform Jimmy Kimmel, he rewrote the entire playbook for late night roasting with a single confident smile. Producers whispered in hallways, comedians rechecked their material, and PR teams scrambled into emergency meetings that smelled heavily of panic as they tried to prevent their clients from ever becoming the next target. Some performers suddenly treated sarcasm like an extreme sport requiring helmets, while others practiced their comebacks with Olympic intensity, training like martial artists in front of mirrors. Late night writing teams increased their caffeine intake Escalation take, determined to avoid being caught off guard by another comedic supernova. Nobody said it directly, but everyone felt the same headline echoing in their minds. Roast responsibility matters.
This is not good. So he has all free speech. Get a podcast like everybody else.
Yeah.
Stand outside of your house and preach your stuff. Do your stand-up. See if anyone in the neighborhood stops by.
All right.
Those who usually argued non-stop about their favorite hosts or segments suddenly paused their rivalries and united under the banner of glorious chaos because everyone understood they had witnessed something unforgettable. Anyone who saw the broadcast became an instant historian, replaying each moment like scholars studying battlefield formations, refusing to let the memory fade quietly into television history. Commenters posted dramatic reenactments with captions bold enough to shake algorithms, and anytime someone tried downplaying the event, the internet corrected them instantly with undeniable receipts. The moment somehow became both entertainment and research material, proving the internet thrives on organized chaos more than anything else. Meanwhile, clips of Jimmy's priceless reaction spread across every platform like celebratory confetti, with viewers pausing the footage at the exact second his dignity evaporated as if competing in a new sport. Influencers dedicated whole videos to slow-motion breakdowns of his expressions, body language, and that unforgettable smile that silently screamed, "I am holding everything together with sheer willpower and dental strength." Audiences adored every frame with cinematic excitement, savoring the drama as if watching a blockbuster unfold in real time.
So last night, Jimmy Kimmel returned to his show and gave a self-pitying, tearful non-apology. But I gotta say, it's nice to see someone crying at Kimmel's show besides the audience. Kimmel failed to correct his lie that Charlie Kirk's assassin was a MAGA supporter, but he cited Jesus as inspiration for forgiveness. True, Jesus forgave his executioners, but Jesus also cast demons into...
Tyrus's public reaction to the viral explosion didn't add more fuel or dramatic commentary. Instead, his silence made everything even more intense, giving the roast a mysterious glow that felt almost supernatural. Fans couldn't decide whether to admire his restraint or fear the possibility that he could unleash a sequel at any moment without warning, which made comedians quietly add "avoid provoking unnecessarily" to their personal rulebooks. Executives love unforgettable TV, but they also crave control, and control was nowhere in sight during this meltdown, which only made the ratings spike taste even sweeter. Entertainment analysts jumped into debates, with some insisting audiences crave real, unscripted heat because safe jokes feel lifeless, while others focused on the psychological toughness required to survive a roast without turning into dust on live television. But everyone, no matter their angle, agreed on one truth: nobody walks away from a moment like this unchanged. Whether delivering the hit or taking it head on, each person walks out with new experience points like characters leveling up in a massive video quest.
Why did it take so long? Because, you know, I'd crushed them like bugs, David. I'd crushed them and I'd thrown them into the wind, and they were still here. I call it entertainment welfare. The only reason why they were around for so long, despite the fact that their numbers were dropping, was the fact that they kind of like towed the line. So I guess when I heard that they were gone, it really didn't surprise me because the numbers were saying it. I don't think it was political. I didn't know anybody, and I'm counting by many liberal friends who watched them. And I think it's because it wasn't entertainment anymore. It was more like a...
Jimmy eventually returned to his regular show with the determination of a sitcom character refusing to be written out of the script, rebuilding his confidence one careful moment at a time. Every camera angle, every small smirk, and every segment carried a quiet defiance. The look of someone climbing back from a storm, while millions watched with curiosity and a hint of admiration. Viewers weren't pitying him, they were studying the comeback while secretly wondering if another comedic earthquake would strike one day. Meanwhile, Tyrus moved on with the calm confidence of someone who had completed a chaotic assignment early and went home to eat dinner like it was any normal night. No bragging, no dramatic walk-off, just the ease of a person who accidentally punched a hole in pop culture and carried on. Writers began using the moment as a benchmark, hosts treated it like cautionary folklore, and fans saw it as a new gold standard for entertainment excellence. It wasn't just a roast, it became the foundation of comedic infrastructure, something shows now acknowledge quietly, like an earthquake zone everyone remembers but rarely mentions.
Which, as you know, for Jimmy, is still possible.
So should we forgive him for the first time he lied or the second? Jesus performed a lot of miracles, but I don't think he'll be bringing Kimmel's show back from the dead. Kimmel portrayed himself as a victim, so maybe next time he does blackface, instead of Karl Malone, he should just go as Jussie Smollett.
Time didn't soften the memory of that night. If anything, it polished it until it shined even brighter, pulling in new viewers every day who reacted as if the roast had happened just hours ago. Comment sections kept recycling the excitement with fresh energy, proving that great humor never fades when the delivery hits with timeless precision. Generations grow up watching iconic media moments, and thanks to digital archives and unstoppable curiosity, this roast joined the ranks of endlessly replayed television chaos. Somewhere in the long timeline of late-night history, that moment sits like a legendary plaque bolted into the wall with oversized comedic screws glowing louder every time someone replays it. Comedy will keep evolving, hosts will keep fighting to stay relevant, and audiences will always crave the unexpected, but once in a while someone mentions that roast, the one that crossed every normal boundary and became something almost mythic. And when they do, the room always goes silent for a second because everyone knows exactly which night they're thinking of. The night Tyrus turned a simple TV segment into an unforgettable avalanche that rewrote the rules of entertainment and stamped itself into immortality.